Time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. Record-breaking heat continues over the southwest. Critical fire weather risks continue over the northern and central high plains. Generally dry condition across much of the lower 48 through the midweek. Closer to home, quiet weather conditions continue for the area. Another backdoor cold front is expected to push through on Friday. It's going to bring some slightly cooler temperatures and breezy winds. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. At last night's city special meeting, they were set to discuss the Upper Canyon and salt fire debris at the Otero Green Tree landfill. A presentation was made by Joe Lewandowski.
Now, as far as the Upper Canyon and salt fires and flood damage, as you know, quite a bit of damage, one of the worst up there, 1,400 structures this time around versus Little Barrel back in the day, which was only 300 structures. The cleanup has been going on since July 1, actually prior to the July 1, stopping and going as the floods came and shut everybody down and so on. But the landfill itself has been taking debris from up there since July 1, and we knew that the volumes were going to be excessive, way above anything we normally took. So basically we told them we'd give them a time period when we start taking it, and then once we reach after about 60 to 90 days, we'd evaluate how much more we can do or can't do as far as taking those volumes at the landfill.
No action was needed on this presentation. Then the commission recessed into a closed session. The village of Tularosa is having a special meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. The meeting agenda is available on villageoftularosa.com. The U.S. Forest Service says they're starting to reseed areas in the Lincoln National Forest affected by the South Fork fire. The lightning-caused fire forced the evacuation of the village of Ruidoso over the summer. In all, the fire burned over 17,000 acres. Areas of the Smoky Bear Ranger District will be closed for the reseeding and mulching projects inside of the burn scar. The Forest Service says the restoration efforts will help prevent erosion, protect water quality, and promote natural regeneration of the forest. Forest officials expect the area to reopen in mid-November. In the over 3 months since the South Fork and Salt fires devastated the Ruidoso area and neared $30 million in damages, the community has also faced flood after flood. FEMA officials have announced how they've helped some fire and flooding victims, but there are residents who say they've been trying to get help, but having trouble getting that help. Many have applied for flood insurance after FEMA mentioned an exception with the National Flooding Insurance Program could expedite the process.
Normally, when you buy a brand new flood insurance policy, there is a 30-day waiting period. If you are in a post-wildfire situation like we are in Ruidoso, that 30-day can change to 1 day.
Roberto Ramirez, a director of FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Branch, speaking with KOB.
In Lincoln County, there is only 252 policies. So that's the entire county. So there's a lot of people that don't have flood insurance. So right now, we only have 73 claims since the disaster was declared.
If you receive a letter of denial, it can be appealed. The Alamogordo Public Library Book Club meets this Saturday from 1 to 3. Join in for a lively and compelling discussion of books and topics. Call the reference desk at 575-439-4148 to learn more. Join the Lincoln Trestle Planting Project, happening on Saturday, October 5th, to help restore trees lost to dwarf mistletoe. Volunteers will plant genetically resistant southwestern white pines at the Trestle Recreation Center. The event runs from 9 a.m. until 3:30, and Smoky Bear will be on site with fire safety tips. Check out the Lincoln National Forest Facebook page for details. The U.S. Veterans Motorcycle Club proudly presents Bike Night in Alamogordo. Raffles and food will be on hand. Again, that's this Saturday from 6 until 10 at the VFW. Live music by Molly's Chamber. You're invited to meet and greet with Congressman Gabe Vasquez on October 14th from 11 till 2 at the Mescalero Tribal Offices parking lot. There's going to be a voter registration drive as well as free hot dogs and burgers. You're cordially invited to attend the Wingfield Heritage House Museum ribbon cutting and open house celebration happening on Thursday, October 17th at 2813 Southern Drive in Ruidoso. The ribbon cutting's at noon, open house at 2, live music, food, and drinks at 4. Zubu 2024 is happening on Saturday, October 26th from 9 until noon at the Alameda Park Zoo. Candy Trail and Costume Contest. Best of all, the event is free. The Tularosa Arts and History Council are proud to present the Halloween on Granado Street event happening Saturday, October 26th from 5 until 8. Trunk or Treat Alley, live music, games, pet parade, and a whole lot more. Try tularosa.org or 505-350-4531 for details. The Alamogordo Public Library has a Halloween event planned for Saturday, October 26th from 1 until 4. Arts and crafts as well as snacks. This Halloween, don't just carve pumpkins, carve your path to success. Great news from Animal Village NM. You can once again get your dog or cat spayed or neutered for just $65. Sonny Aris told us all about it.
In Otero County, that is Paw in Hand on Cuba near Albertsons. In Lincoln County, that is Ruidoso Animal Clinic. The vet will schedule your surgery for you after you have the paperwork from Animal Village NM. Then you'll get your pet spayed or neutered for just $65 instead of hundreds of dollars.
AnimalVillageNM.org for details. Well, today is Wednesday. Let's check in with our good friend Stephanie Hale and see what's happening at Thrive.
Hi, this is Stephanie Hale with Thrive in Southern New Mexico. Thrive is proud to be a community partner of the Alamogordo Police Department, and this year we have partnered up to host Alamogordo's Night Out this Saturday, October 5th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Washington Park. Get in on the action and team up with your local law enforcement for an evening of family fun. There will be live music, food trucks, and many other community partners available to provide information of what's going on around Alamogordo. Squad up with your heroes at the Alamogordo's Night Out, hosted by the Alamogordo Police Department and sponsored by Thrive in Southern New Mexico, this Saturday, October 5th, from 4 to 8 at Washington Park. For more information, you can reach us at 575-437-8400 at 1601 10th Street in Alamogordo, or jump on our website, letsthrivnm.org. That's it for this week. I'm Stephanie Hale with Thrive in Southern New Mexico, and I'll be back next week and every Wednesday right here on Crazy Radio.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives, from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.org. Local sports, local events, and local happenings and more. Nonprofit owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.org. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
San Juan County authorities have charged a teenager for making an online threat. The 15-year-old posted a concerning message toward Piedra Vista High School on Instagram. Investigators said the teenager included a firearm in that post. That juvenile has since been charged with unlawful possession of a firearm and other related offenses. The missing and murdered indigenous people crisis is a complex issue that continues to grow. The FBI says more than 600 people have been reported missing over the last 2 years in New Mexico, but hundreds have been solved to date. FBI intelligence analyst Donald Metzmeyer spoke with KOAT.
Of those 668, 478 have been resolved, and that's about a 71% resolution rate.
An accomplishment Metzmeyer and others say is a sign that appropriate action is being taken to tackle the missing and murdered indigenous people issue. New Mexico City's Albuquerque and Gallup are in the top 10 in the nation where indigenous people go missing. And Farmington's not far behind. The New Mexico court system is suing the state over what it claims is interference with how it pays its own employees. The administrative office of the court says the state is illegally meddling in the way judicial employees are paid for time off, enforcing restrictions on when workers can use leave, and not allowing it to roll over year after year. Director Carl Reifsteck, the administrative office of the courts, told KRQE that the courts should be able to make those decisions.
We think we tried hard to talk this through with DFA and work through our concerns and theirs. But unfortunately that didn't work and it didn't leave us other options.
The Department of Finance and Administration said administrative office of the court's policy is illegal and that it's the state's job to oversee the spending. The border remains a hot button issue for many Americans, but what some may not know is that human remains have been found regularly along the U.S.-Mexican border. Nearly 100 sets of remains last year and 85 so far this year. Battalion Search and Rescue finds these remains in the desert and then reports them to officials, like the Donna Ana County Sheriff Kim Stewart, using crossroads and coordinates. But Stewart told KFOX not all reported findings are being investigated.
Sometimes we will not go on mere coordinates.
We spoke with James Holman of the Battalion Search and Rescue Team to learn what his group reports.
We provide probably more information than anyone that the sheriff is dealing with. We complete reports with our contact information, descriptions of the site, accurate GPS coordinates, descriptions of the location. We take really good overhead photographs with forensic rulers. We flag the sites with high-vis tape. Our goal is to have these sites processed and recovered thoroughly and completely.
Holman also told me about the disturbing number of female remains his group is finding as well. You can hear the conversation in full on the Crazy Radio YouTube channel. It's not easy to make public health decisions without access to good data. And epidemiologists and public health workers for Native American communities say they're often in the dark because state and federal agencies restrict their access to the latest numbers. Roz Brown has the story.
Despite federal legislation and recommendations to make information available, workers at tribal epidemiology centers have told government investigators that there are still blind spots, according to KFF Health News. Sarah Shubrooks manages data for tribal communities in North and South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. She says the alarming infection and death rates in Native communities during the pandemic put a spotlight on the issue.
When it became urgent, life or death for a lot of our tribal members, in that situation is when it was very clear, very suddenly, that not only is this problematic, it's unacceptable.
The 2010 reauthorization of the Indian Healthcare Improvement Act granted tribal epidemiology centers data regularly distributed to state and local officials. Nonetheless, tribal health officials say repeated denial of data requests impeded their response to COVID-19. By July 2020, infection rates were 3.5 times that of non-Hispanic whites for American Indians and Alaskan Natives. 2 years ago, a report by the U.S. Government Accountability Office confirmed issues raised by Shubrooks and others, but she says many have not been resolved, and notes that Native American communities have historically faced significant inequities in health care.
We have 18 tribal communities that we serve, and our health outcomes in this region are particularly sometimes desperate. There's large disparities between our tribal population's health outcomes with the local white population.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recently published a draft policy that clarifies what kind of information tribal data centers can access. In addition to problems during the pandemic, health officials there say data denials impeded their responses to an ongoing syphilis outbreak in the Midwest and Southwest. I'm Roz Brown.
Sports and weather are coming up next. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 4 matches for New Mexico volleyball today, including West Las Vegas at Dexter. Your Crazy Radio spot-on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for sunny skies. Mostly clear tonight, sunny tomorrow. Your high today in the basin, 83. Low tonight of 59. High tomorrow, 87 degrees. In Cloudcroft, sunny skies today. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting up to 15 miles per hour. Sunny tomorrow, winds gusting as high as 14. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 64. Low tonight of 43. Wind chill's going to make it feel like it's 38. High tomorrow, 68 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.org, and you can learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. Well, that concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.